I noticed that a lot of people that are getting into realistic portrait drawing have a lot of trouble understanding the references they have, not necessarily because of the lack of skill, but because the references themselves are not good. So today I want to talk a little bit about how you would go about finding good reference, or in general, what makes a good reference for portrait drawing or head drawing. And I'm going to talk about the parameters you should use first, and then a few sites that you can go to, or a few search terms that you can use to try to find this good reference. First off, I've got a few samples here, and this kind of shot for me is the gold standard because it's got clear lighting, it's got multiple shots of the same model. So in order for you to understand how a face actually looks, ideally you had access to multiple images from multiple angles of the same thing. And it's not really a weird expression. The face is clearly visible. There are no accessories. There's no extra clothing, nothing of that sort. So if you want to make your work easier when you study portrait drawing or head drawing, then you have to look for something that's like this. Ideally at a high resolution. Now, I realize this one specifically, at least in the image that I found, is made of very small photos. I have no idea where this comes from. In fact, I would like to find the model pack for this because, once again, it's really, really good lighting. So the main parameter really that you should be looking for is a strong lighting coming from one side, whether that's above or to the actual side or below, that kind of emphasizes the bone structure, the various features of the face, and separates things out quite nicely. If the photographer is professional, you could also get as a bonus some really nice shadow shapes. This is not always possible, obviously, depending on the model, but something like this second photo here is really nice because it creates this sort of triangle wedge shape on the side of the face. I think it's called Rembrandt lighting, and you get the nice separation of the chin. You get light against dark over here, and then a nice cast shadow of the head on the rest of the body. This one is also pretty good. You basically want to be able to read the image as best as you can, because obviously you're not there. You cannot perceive distances from a photo. So the clearer the photo is, and the easier it is for you to read it. Once you find this kind of image, if you still have trouble understanding values, what you can do is copy it, and then you bring it in something like Photoshop, paste it, and then remove. I use a Control-Shift-U, probably Command-Shift-U on the Mac. Remove the color information so that you have an easier time reading what's going on here. Again, this is really small. Like, ideally you would have access to the full picture here, but it's the best example I could find for very strong lighting for the same model from different angles. If you happen to know where this model pack is from, please let me know because I think it's awesome. Next, now that we know what a good reference would be, let's see where we can find it. First, we could go on Pinterest, and if you look for something like portrait reference, you're going to find a lot of stuff, and a lot of this stuff is pretty bad. So something like this, I would not recommend for a beginner. Something like this, definitely not. This probably also really hard. This also really hard, but this one, and this one I think originally is from New Masters Academy, although it's copyrighted as a draw this. This is actually really good because it's got the same quality, if you know, the same kind of site lighting, very clear lighting information, very sharp shadows that makes reading the form extremely easy. We want to have a mix of soft shadows, basically form shadows like here, like this one here, and hard shadows here, basically because we want to learn to create hard and soft edges. So the cast shadow of the nose, the cast shadow of the chin, the really nice, this photo is actually great, really nice shadow shape that's created here from the chin, then the neck, then the sternocleidomastoid. This is a great reference that you can start using already. If you've never copied this, I highly recommend trying this one. This one is another one, again, from New Masters. This one is pretty good as well. What you want to avoid is something a little strange like this. While you do get the same type of cast shadow, it creates this strange effect where things are not exactly clear. Like there's a cast shadow here on the cheek, but it's cutting at this weird angle. And then there's the cast shadow of the nose. This is not really readable. Something like this, on the other hand, pretty good. So you can use something like this. It's a little, I think it's, I don't know, it's from a book or something. It's kind of difficult to tell. In any case, this is also pretty good. There are others that I would recommend. Something like this. There seems to be a series of Chinese photos. I don't know where these are coming from. These are pretty good, pretty clear lighting. Also, because the subject is a little older, or well, considerably older in this case, I guess, you can kind of see the bone structure poking through. And that is actually very useful when you try to study portraits, because you do want to anchor your drawing in a few places if you cannot find the landmarks, because, well, first, you have bad lighting, and second, because the subject is super buttery smooth, like a young pinup girl or something, like a Instagram model, then it's gonna be very hard to study how to construct a face. Something like this, also really good. Pretty much all of these, maybe not this one. This one's a little difficult, also because of the hat. This one's a bit flat. But wherever you see the shadow on the cheek, something like this one. Again, this one is not too bad because you can still read the structure. That's considered a good reference for a portrait. This as well is not too bad. Obviously, again, because this is Pinterest, you're gonna get a lot of mixed results, and most of them are not gonna be very good. So if the ones that I pointed out, like this one, this, are already falling short for you because they're not as good as something like the previous one we had, or was it this one? This one, again, still gold standard. Then the next thing you can do is you can go on Gumroad and you can look for portrait reference and find. It's going to take a bit, probably. You're also going to find a lot of not safe for work content, obviously, but you can find the same type of picture that I mentioned. These are obviously just the covers, so they're low resolution. But one thing that I believe I forgot to mention, or I didn't stress enough, find something that is pretty high resolution. You do not want to copy from a pixelated photo. Again, this is really good. Same model, different angles, pretty free bust area. Like, you don't have weird clothing getting in the way. You don't have accessories. So this would be another good one. This one specifically actually seems really good to me. I don't have this pack, but it seems pretty good. So Gumroad is another website. Yet another one could be ArtStation, although again, there is a lot nowadays, unfortunately, of mixed bag and AI crap. So you're gonna have to sort through the chaff. Lastly, I want to go back to Pinterest, because something that often gets overlooked, and I talked about in my anatomy video a few years ago, is sculptures. Because sculptures, surprise, surprise, have actually usually pretty good lighting and pretty clear shapes. So if you take something like this one, this is actually a very, very good reference to study from. It's got a lot of those shapes already defined for us. Those ones I talked before, right? The definition, the distinction between soft edges and hard edges here. This one is a little blurry, but I think it's clear enough. So as you can see, if the photo is clear, you don't need super high resolution. You just need to be able to read it. Something like this as well. I don't doubt that a lot of these nowadays are plagued by AI crap. So use your judgment. I want to believe that some of these, if not hopefully all of these I'm finding, are photos. So if you come across something like this, these are excellent, really excellent photos to study from. In this case, for this specific bust, and I don't, again, know if this is a real thing, but it looks like it might be. Even if it's not, I mean, the shadow shapes are pretty good, so you can try to use it. This would be a little more advanced than an older model if you want to study facial structure, because as you can tell, It's pretty smooth, but it still preserves some of those lines. Like if you studied Bridgman, you know that there's this kind of shelf on the front of the face. You got the shelf of the eyebrows, so it's still pretty visible. But in general, sculptures, like classical sculptures, are extremely good for this. So something like this, again, the same, different angle. You got some others over here. They're very similar, actually. You can use Roman sculptures, Greek sculptures, or anything really that's got good lighting. Ideally, if you pair it with some kind of book you're studying, you already know what you're looking for. Like if you're studying Bridgman, you go and look for those shelves, for example. So you can see really good, nice shapes that you can easily tell. And ideally, as you study this, you will also be able to rotate these things in your head. Do not discount studying from sculptures because it's incredibly underrated. The amount of information that you can acquire from studying a sculpture is unbelievable. You're not only studying something that's fairly realistic, but another artist already distilled down the main forms and shapes and made them more readable than they would normally be. So something like this, you can see it's simplified. It's not exactly, 100% a realistic portrait, but it's pretty good. Really good stuff. So keep this in mind. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. So now hopefully you're equipped with the necessary filter to go and find good reference for your studies. If you want to know more about drawing realistic portraits, stay tuned because I'm going to have a few videos that talk exactly about that. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.